Percents over 100. A lot of time we think of percents being just 100 because 100% is everything. But it is possible to have, 150% growth. Things grow more than double. So you can have percents over 100, and they're treated the same way. So we're going to do some problems with percents over 100. And I'm going to set these first ones up as proportions because I'm a big fan of proportions. If you like equations, you can go ahead and set them up that way and just double check. Your answer will be the same either way. So when I do this, 30 is what percent of 20? I start with what percent because percent always goes over 100 equals. Now on the other side, is goes on top, of goes on the bottom. I cross multiply. 20x equals 3,000. Refresh solving proportions, or solving equations, excuse me. Divide both sides by the number in front of your variable, and x equals 150. And because we're dealing with a proportion here, your question was what percent? I throw a percent on this, and there's my answer, 150%. Next one. What amount is 110% of 55? Well, I start with my percent. 110 over 100 is, well, I see of 55. Of implies the total goes in the bottom. What amount is? So there's my x on the top. When I cross multiply, 100x equals 6,050. I divide both sides by 100, and x equals 60.5. 250% of what number is 25? Well, 250% is more than the whole, right? Because a whole is 100%. So 250 over 100 is 25. That means is goes on top of what number? I throw that on the bottom. So I go, and you can see if you just look at this, 250 is bigger than 100, so 25 should be bigger than whatever number is beneath it, right? Just kind of thinking through that kind of thing. So when I cross multiply, 250x equals 2,500. Divide both sides by 250, and x equals 10. Couple more. 75. Let's go ahead and do this one as an equation just to refresh that in case you wanted to. 75 is means equals 125%. We change that to a decimal. 1.25 of what number? Okay, well, divide both sides by 1.25 and x equals 60. So that's how it would be as an equation. And again, you can do these either way. Both are mathematically correct. It's all up to you. Now, story problems I think are easier as proportions. So, assume a concert ticket prices are 125% of what they used to be. If they used to be $30, how much are they now? Okay, so when you start with this 125% over 100, they're 125% of what they used to be. So the 125 is now, the 100 is then. It's what they used to be. So when you're looking at this other fraction, they used to be 30. Well, that goes on the bottom. How much are they now is on the top. So when I cross multiply, 100x equals 3,750. Divide both sides by 100, and I end up with $37.50. And again, we're talking about money, so I want to make sure I put my dollar sign and round accordingly. Last one. The doctor said you need to consume fewer calories. You should be consuming only 2,000 calories, but you're eating 2,600. The amount of calories you're eating is what percent of what you should be consuming. So we're talking about what percent. So I am going to have the x over 100. Now, this is what you should be, right? 100% is what you should. The top is your actual. So when I look at this, I'm actually eating 2,600. I should be eating 2,000. You know what? Nobody's going to tell me what to do. I'll do what I want. Cross multiply, 2,000x. Go this way. I end up with 260,000. Divide both sides by 2,000. And the calories that I'm eating is 130% of what I should be. Again, we're talking about percent. So after I do my math, I just throw a percent sign on the end, and I have my answer.